Hey guys, welcome to day 26 of my 50 days of Facebook Live. Um, yeah, we're all halfway there, halfway there. That's a great way to start. I am tired, guys. I want to share, maybe have a little bit of a story time and just kind of like process out some things that God has been, talking to me about. And even just in my own, so many times it's the things that we're walking through and doing, like there's a message. And so I was just kind of like just chatting with Holy Spirit about like some of the shifts. And today was a bit of a pivot day for me where I had to like really change course, change direction. And so I was just like, what was that about, God? Like, what was that pivot about? And so what happened, a lot of you guys know I'm going to New Jersey, and I had posted, I think it was last week, I was just like, anybody have hotel recommendations? Because my plan, because I'm going to a GPA conference in New Jersey, and there's going to be some other prophets from the Prophet Nest that I meet with on a weekly basis. And then there's going to be some that I know from emerging prophets as well there. And so it's just a great time of connecting and people from all over, the States and the other side of Canada. And so it just was really nice. I could go to New York and it wasn't too far. So I was like, how am I going to get to New York? Like, I wasn't initially going to go, but God made it super clear that he wanted me to go. And so I was like, okay, how am I going to get there? So I made my plan. And my plan is I looked at Google Maps and I was like, okay, it's about 8.5 hours straight driving, no snow, no traffic, no disruptions, no stops. So I figured I'd split it up and I'll do it like, half one day, stay at a hotel in Syracuse and then do the other half. So this was my plan, and I made my plan, but, and I felt kind of settled with it. And yet I didn't fully I didn't book the hotels in Syracuse. I only booked the hotel for the 3 days that I would actually be in New Jersey. So I hadn't fully flushed things out, and then Monday happened and I'm like, had that lovely treacherous drive home from work. That was like maybe just a little bit traumatic. It was really horrible. And it was like snow drifts and my car drifted, it almost spun out a couple times, and I had to like pull over and like, ask people to pray for me because I was like, I was pretty shaken up. And so, Monday happened, yesterday I got to rest and everything, and then I went to work. This morning I actually woke up and I just felt really unsettled about my plan. I was like, oh, I feel really unsettled. Like I was so sure that I was going to drive, take my car, I can save the money on the flight and all this. And just get out of the country and just, enjoy myself, stop halfway, have a little mini vacation. And I just was like feeling a little unsettled about it when I woke up this morning. And then I went to work, and on my way to work, oh my goodness, the roads again with the snow and the ice and just like not good road conditions. And has anyone like you driving to work, and my only thoughts like driving to work was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I need to turn around and go back. Why am I not like, and then I'd hit one snow drift. I'm like, why am I not turning around and going back? And then the road was closed. So I was just like, today I was like, driving to New York sounds like a really bad idea. So that was kind of my process. And I'm like, I can't drive to New York. I need to fly. And so was my big pivot. And so I bought a plane ticket today and bought a plane ticket and booked a rental car. And so I'm going to fly to New York, and I really felt like God was saying that, there is this message. And, the Bible talks about in his heart, a man plans his course, but the Lord directs his steps. And so it's this place of, walking in intimacy with him, following the lead of the Holy Spirit, and, understanding that he is in all of these little details. And Tina, come to Oregon. Tina, I have another invitation from Will and Dana, who are also in Emerging Prophets, to come to Oregon. So they're in Gold Beach, which I think is a few hours from you, but I'm probably gonna find my way over to Oregon to go visit Will and his wife. So that is on my list. And Denise Rios, hello, in Puerto Rico. Alicia Coulter, Sydney Smith-Berry, Chris Shear, Jesse Riccatoni. Good to see all you guys. But I really, so that aside, so there was a big pivot this week. I felt that big pivot and shift in the plans. But has anybody else noticed that it's been a little bit of it's a bit of a harder week. Things have been a little bit intense this week. Anybody else out there noticing that it's been a hard week, that there has been a bit of a heaviness, kind of, a weightiness, maybe wrestling through a little bit of, there's been a bit of wrestles for some people with senses of like grief and just this like process of like shutting the doors behind. There's been this process of like grieving the dreams of what we thought we were stepping into, as we're about to step into this. And yeah, Sydney's saying, yes, it's been a hard week. Guys, sometimes we feel this like, we feel this weight and this heaviness, and it's kind of like, it's bigger than ourselves. It's kind of like, sometimes it's these like more corporate things that are going on, and so I check in with some prophetic friends and just kind of see like, how are you doing? Like, how are you feeling? What are your senses telling you? And so I really have felt like that there has been this sense of, this sense of like a little bit of a grief over what we're leaving behind, a grief over some dreams of things that we thought we were going to step into, things that we thought were going to go a certain way. And, I actually had a very wise mentor say to me, last week, it was just like, Jenny, just remember, you're only grieving what you imagined. And so there's sometimes this sense, because, even though God is directing our steps and he gives us the prophetic words, sometimes we like fill in, so it's like, we know what is prophesied over us, what God says to us. And then we like fill in all the in between, and we come up with our own plans and our ideas of what we think is going to look like and how, we should move about things. Just kind of like I did with my trip. I was like, okay, I know I'm here and I know I need to get there because God told me to go there, but I'm not really sure exactly what getting from here to there is supposed to look like or what's the best way. So I made my plan, and then God showed me through the very unpredictable weather this week that my plan was a sucky plan, and that he had a plan for me that was much better and much safer and would allow me to get there with much less tension. A few $100s less in my bank account, but less stress and tension, and so this is the tension that we find ourselves in the in-between. And it's like, so we know, we might know a thing or two. And then it's like, God is like, okay, this is where we're going, and so sometimes what happens in this in between, and I'm, a very visionary kind of person, and I dream, and I'm a real like mover and go-getter, and so we come up with the plans of like how we're going to move forward. And, there's been an interruption. And so for a lot of us, there's been an interruption, and we're at this crossover point. And it's not like, oh, we're going to cross over. No, we've crossed over. We've already crossed over into the new land. And, Jesus said he was going to take us to the other side. And here we are. We're at the other side. But the picture that God gave me, and I saw, it was like, so this whole thing of crossing over reminded me of Jesus being in the boat on the stormy seas with his disciple. What's Jesus doing, in the boat? Well, all his disciples are like, we're going to die. He's sleeping, so Jesus with his head on the pillow, peace in the midst of the storm. And, but he told his disciples, we're going to go to the other side. And it's like, God showed me this picture, and it's like, we've been through so much, and it's been such a massive transition, in some ways even traumatic transition, just like I had the picture of like a shipwreck, kind of like in Acts where, Paul was shipwrecked. And so it's like, I could see people, where the ship was wrecked, and you see the broken debris and everything is like in the water. And it's like, I saw people, but God had brought them, the ship is sunk, the ship is demolished, but the people, we were saved and brought to the shore. And so it's like, I saw us in this place, like God has brought us to a place of safety. It's been difficult to get there. There's been some trauma along the way. There's been some loss. There's been some pain, but we're on the other side. we're on the other side, and we're ready to go. But I could see that there was this sense of people still being stuck in the place of the pain and the loss and the trauma and the, like, as I was driving and my car was like almost spinning out, I was feeling, honestly, a little bit of trauma there. Like, it's very scary, and it just takes, it just takes one thing, especially if you've had a history of accidents, and so even though I was totally safe and I got to work and I got home from work, I was very shaken up, and so, but I feel like there was a message in that. God was saying, like, even though he got us where we were going, even though we arrived at the destination, even though we've made it there safely, the things that we've had to endure along the journey to get there have really shaken a lot of us up. And God is bringing us to this place. It's this place of really closing the door, letting go of the wreckage so that we can stand on our feet and get up and walk into the promised land and into this new territory that we are already on the shoreline of, like we've already crossed over. And so we're in this beautiful place, but there is a bit of a heaviness that I think a lot of people have been experiencing, and it is just that tension. And so there is this needing to let go of the pain and the grief of yesterday, but also of the unfulfilled dreams and visions. But it's more like, not that the vision's not going to come to pass, but it's not going to come to pass the way that you had hoped and expected, the way that you had imagined, the way that you had come up with, because, and I heard God say, like, and this is not an easy thing to hear, because, but he said, like, this was your way, it wasn't my way. This was your dream, it wasn't like my dream. And so some of it's the filling in the in-between. So it's like God has your destiny. He has the places he's going to take you. And this is where we need to be not doubting now. So in this time where it's a little bit heavier, you're just overcoming the shipwreck or the difficulties of the past season. Just in this place, the winds have been blowing, and the winds of change have been blowing, and they've been shifting, and they've been messing things up. Nobody goes out, walks in the wind, and comes out with their hair looking all nice. Everything goes everywhere. And so we've been in this place of kind of like chaotic twisting and turning as the seasons have been shifting and changing. But it's good. It's good. And that's what we have to remember. It's this willingness to let go. And I don't know if some of you guys have been tracking with me. I'd released a prophetic word a while back, it's probably a couple months ago, about King of the Castle. And it ties back into this. And it was about, the posture that we took in the last season was like in this game of like King of the Castle, where it's like with all our strength and our might, we held on and we fought and we climbed and we took the mountain and we did everything that we could to like take hold of our destiny and not have it taken from us. And so there was really good things in that, and in the posture and in the fight and in the positioning, where it's like we saw the prophetic promise and we warred for it, we went after it, but now the times have shifted and changed and the posture's different. And so now it's not this one of like holding on tightly, I will not go, you won't. It's actually one of release and surrender. And God is bringing us back to this place of release and surrender. And do you trust me? Do you trust me that my plans are better than your plans, that my way of getting you to where you need to get to is better than what you could contrive of your own imagination? And it's in this place. It's in this place. And so there is a place for grieving the dreams that are not going to come to fruition. So I'm not going to say that. Grieve the dreams, and the things that you thought you wanted and needed. That's what it is. Some of us, we grow up and we just have this conception about what life would look like. And we think we know what it would look like. And we think we know what we want, and sometimes life turns out very different. For me, I never would have imagined that I would not have children in the natural, that I would be single in my early 40s. I never imagined that, but I look at my life and what God has done and given me, and I am like so grateful for the path that he's chosen for me. And so even something like that, where it's like you think you need something, you think you want something, you think that life has to look a certain way, but if my life had looked the way that I had always planned and thought when I was growing up, I wouldn't necessarily be here and where I'm at and doing the things that God is calling me to do in this hour. And not to say all those things can't change, but it's like there is a needfulness, guys, and to give yourself permission to like grieve and to let go of things that you were holding in your heart. And God is actually saying, this is not for now, or this isn't the way that we're going to get there. And we're in this place of surrender and stepping in. And, and I really, really felt that don't doubt in the storm. Don't doubt in the dark. Don't doubt while the winds are blowing and things are difficult. Don't doubt in this season when you feel yourself triggered and you're feeling the pain, of things, things that you need to leave behind. Don't doubt what God told you in the light. Don't doubt the promises that he's put in your heart, the things that he's spoken to you, the things that and you've been believing for, even if now you're in this place of needing to let go of your plans and allow him to just reconceptualize and rewrite the vision again. And a lot of us are in that place. And guys, I'm not, you might, I do Facebook Live, so you might think I'm spontaneous. So I guess maybe in some ways I can step into spontaneity, but what you should know about me is I'm very organized. I'm generally organized and planned. I love routine. I love my schedule, and I love having things planned out. So the fact that I hadn't booked my hotels for like tomorrow and hadn't fully prepared the trip, and just allowing, that space for God to pivot, like that's really outside of my comfort zone, because I like to figure things out. Like, and now, I know what I'm doing until, for the next few months in some regards, but I'm like, but I want the next year plan. I want the 5-year plan. I want the 10-year plan. And, we're in this season where God isn't necessarily giving us absolutely every detail. He's not necessarily giving us what it's going to look long term, but he is giving us the steps to take. But for us to hear him and to receive the direction that he has for us, we need to be able to shift ourselves out of a place of posture, out of the place and the posture of grieving and clinging to the wreckage of the shipwrecks of the past season. And to let go. And to let go of the wreckage of the past season and to move in to the new. And so we're in this place of moving into the new. And it's like, grief, there's a time to grieve and there's a time to mourn, but there's also a time to rejoice. And it's time for us to start rejoicing. And it's actually, gratitude is going to be our way forward in this season. It's the gratitude really shifts our perspective off of the pains of yesterday and into the present and the gratitude for like what God has given us like right here and right now. And it really helps us it stirs up hope and expectation, joy and excitement for what's to come, and so shifting out, I've had to, I said there were some heavy days this week. Sometimes it's just atmospheric things. And I'm like, why does it feel so heavy? Like nothing, like, things are not going wrong. They seem to be, pretty steady. I have lots to be grateful for, but sometimes they just feel really, heavy. And then, sometimes you do have things like, like I dropped and broke my laptop. And then I had the snow drift and almost spinning out kind of stuff. And, then sometimes you actually have real things that it's like, oh, this is like real frustrating. And this is not something I want to deal with. But in all things, we need to really learn how to give thanks and to praise God and to find that gratitude and to not let go and to, and it's having that stability. The stability comes from knowing who he is, knowing his character, knowing that he's good. Even when things are happening that are not good, then we don't get stuck into blaming him because we know that he is good. And so he's not like doing these things to hurt us or frustrate us, but they're just things that happen and we can always lean into him and his goodness and his faithfulness. Yeah. Yeah. It's an exciting time and it's an exciting season. And so I just, there's only a couple days left of January. The first month of the year is done. Wrap things up. Get on your rejoicing. Stir up gratitude. Go after it. And be ready to receive the vision. What I saw, it was like, the people clinging to the shipwrecks of the past and the pieces of their broken dreams and not willing to let go were not able to stand up and to step into the place of receiving the direction and the instructions that they need for the new season. Yeah. So get ready. Sorry, I had to shift my position. My leg was not super comfortable. All right, and I'm going to shift position. But yeah, stir up your gratitude. Jesse Riccatoni, I want to prophesy over you. I want to prophesy over you in a second here. April Lynn, hello. Sydney Smithberry, Tina Marie Hansel, Jean Babel. And guys, if you're watching, Janice Maines, good to see you. Just drop me a comment especially if you're new on here, let me know, because I will look at your comments to see who God is highlighting to prophesy over. Jesse Riccatoni. Yeah. Yeah, Jesse, I saw a shift in the places of your outflow in this season, and I saw you stepping into a place of like multiple open doors in multiple places where your gifts and your skills, your abilities, all the things that you can do, especially like, with photography and videography and all the things that you do, that I know that you do in the natural, like you're so gifted and talented. And I saw these doors opening up, and I actually felt that like the Lord is not wanting you to try and push doors open, because the doors are going to open to you. And so I actually saw, people seeing your talent and seeing what you have to offer, seeing your skill set and your ability. And Jesse, there's just this favor that's on you. And I see that God is bringing the right kingdom connections and the right people who you're going to be able to partner with and to serve them in their, in their vision and whatever they're doing, in a way that is going to be, one, it's going to be lucrative. Two, it's going to be really rewarding. And, and then three, it's going to be, it's like the door's going to be open to you. You don't have to try and force it or try and convince someone that they like need your talents or, your services. But I just see like God bringing the right people and the right connections, and he has a specific plan and a path for you. And so, you have so much creativity on the inside of you that you can take your gifts and your talents and you can use them in any place and for any person to help them succeed and advance their vision and their call or their influence or whatever it is, that is what they're focused on. Like you can be used in any area, but I actually really feel like the Lord is protecting, he's protecting your energy and your time so that it's used in the right places and in the specific, because you could say yes to a whole lot of things and fill all your time with all kinds of things. Like, you could just use up all your time, but I just see that there's like very specific connections that God wants to make with you. And I see even some like just professional kind of like partnerships where you're going to really help people to take what they're doing, even in some social media things, like helping them to go to the next level and to upgrade. And I see you have such an eye for, you just have such an eye for ideas, but also I see you like getting visions for people and actually being able to vision cast. And so like giving people ideas and, like I see people like almost like consulting with you where they share like, this is what I have, almost like they're coming with these like disjointed pieces, and God is going to show you like how you can help them to bring all the pieces of who they are and the different aspects of like their branding and like bring it into one cohesive package so that, they can figure out like, who they are, what's their brand and what's their message to the world. So Jesse, I just bless you. Your season of encounter is going to increase even more and more. And I see how, Jesse, I prophesied over you before about God meeting you in a specific encounter, and then you had shared a testimony about like how he did meet you in that way. And I feel like I can see another supernatural encounter that God is going to give you in this season. It's going to be an encounter that's going to mark you. And I think you kind of had that hunger, like it's like you have that hunger on the inside, like God, do it again, do it again. And it's like I can see the lightning from heaven coming down and just and touching you in a real powerful way, and it's shifting some things in you. It's almost like it's I see it almost like shifting some, like I'm seeing it like neurologically, like some of the ways that you think and process and develop ideas. It's almost like I see God like putting his finger on even like your ways of thinking and your thought patterns, and like bringing in some like supernatural adjustments that's just going to bring more clarity. It's going to bring more clarity, and it's going to help things come together more quickly. And it's like I see it's going to result in like this creative explosion, because instead of like linear thinking, like, okay, we can do this with this and then this with that, and this connects here. It's kind of just like, I see it like all lighting up together, and it's just like all aspects coming together into one cohesive. It's kind of hard for me to put in words, but it is acceleration, and it's quick. I think it connects back to, it's kind of like it's like a rewiring and really God revealing to you what it means to have like the mind of Christ in this season. And so it's really like connecting with the mind of Christ and just this constant like God thoughts that are like flowing to you and through you. Yeah. Hello, Shanae, Janine Redcliffe, Cody Smith, Dwayne Clugston, good to see you. Bobby, hello. Angela Hollema. All right. Cody Smith. Cody. Yeah, Cody, I see you. I just see God plugging you in just a whole other level. Like I just see you really getting connected to him in this new level, that there's just this like new, it's like this new source of power, it's like this new virtue that's flowing through you in this season. And I just see it's like, there's such a energizing and a refreshing as you're like pouring out and as you're releasing. And I just see like such a grace for you in this season, that as it's like your capacity has so increased and you're able to like do so much more and reach so much more, but without coming to the place of depletion. So I see God really giving you strategies and connections so that you can have more impact, but you're not working harder necessarily, you're working smarter. And so I just see it's almost like it might even be things like where you can figure out the algorithms, and just where it's like, you figure out the algorithms or the secret sauce. And so you just know how to do things in a way that are going to have a level of impact that other people haven't quite been able to figure out. And I just see it's kind of like God is giving you like these keys, and they're just simple. It's not even that you're going to necessarily technically understand what it is that you're doing, but he's just going to like kind of whisper in your ear, Cody, like, hey, do it this way. Or, when when you release whatever content, like, he's going to give you advice on like how to start it, how to finish it, how to like hook people. And I just see him giving you these ideas that are gonna, I mean, they're going to make you look really good and make you look like super, like, you know what you're doing. But I just see this like posture of humility with you, where you're just like, I don't know, I just partner with Holy Spirit and he tells me what to do. And so I just see that outflowing, and it really is, because this has been a season for you of really leaning into him, even in the hard times and hard places. And, I see where you've like pulled back from some things that were like really consuming large amounts of like time and energy, and where you've kind of like stepped back to protect, your virtue. And I really just see, I can see some boundaries that you've added in your life in this season. And I think it's really good. And they were really important. And it's not like, it's almost like, there's people and things that were in your life, and they used to be like really close and have like lots and lots of access. And it's like, you didn't like really fully get rid of them, but I just saw that you added a level of separation. And so it's kind of like added this distance. And I know that it hasn't been easy for you, because sometimes it's difficult for us to put those kind of boundaries in, but I just really feel like this is important, and God is showing you a new way of moving forward that's really gonna like protect that inner circle and protect your energy. And so I see a lot of wisdom in the way that you're doing things, and how you've made some relational adjustments and pulled back from some things. And it's been a pullback. It's the pullback, like the pullback of the slingshot. It's the pullback for the release, because God is launching you, and he's going to shoot you like an arrow that is going to go the distance and accelerate at great speed. And Cody, you're going to hit the mark. You're going to hit the mark. And it's almost like I can see people coming and saying like, oh, can you give me advice? Can you coach me? Can you, like, how did you do this? Or how come it works? Or I've been, people who think that they've been working harder and longer than you and should be farther along, but then you're going to like just go flying past them. And so it's like, I can see this level of just success and increase on your influence in this season. But this humility that God is really, has really got you leaning into, because you're just like, well, it's not my charisma, it's not my brilliance, it's my partnership with Holy Spirit, and he tells me what to do. And so it's really beautiful. So continue in this way. God is setting you up for success, even though some of the shifts and the transitions haven't been easily come by. You've done the work. I just hear keep your boundaries, keep your fences where you've placed them. You've done well. And yeah, awesome. And just reading, thanks for the comment. Cody saying, wow, God has been working overtime in my life recently. Thanks so much for this word. Humility is key right now. Yeah, he's in control. He is in control. Yeah, that's good. Thanks for the feedback. Hello, Becky Young from the UK. I guess UK. Why are you still awake in the UK? It's 8 o'clock here, and I'm honestly, guys, I'm like ready for bed. I'm like, oh, I gotta wake up to do this. I have been up since, like 5 o'clock. Yeah, but 1 o'clock in the morning. Awesome. All right. Oh, Jesse, thanks for the feedback. I'm gonna have to read that afterwards. I really appreciate the feedback that you guys give me on these prophetic words. I can release them and just trust that they're hitting the mark, but it is really encouraging to hear that they really are, resonating with you and touching your heart. So hello, Amber Sheets and Anne Lashbrook, Janine Redcliffe. Janine, are you still on here? Janine Redcliffe. Yeah. Janine, I just see you, you know, Janine, I don't always tell the picture, but Janine, I saw you I saw this picture of like the mountain goat, and you know how they can like scale the sides of like cliffs in the most treacherous terrains. Janine, I saw you like that, and I saw that God has given you this ability to get to the heights that you need to go to in seemingly impossible circumstances. You have this incredible agility and this ability to climb and to just keep going higher and higher. And it's like, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are or what's going on around you. There's things, you know, that have come against you, and things that haven't turned out, you know, the way you thought. And even like the word I released earlier, like there's that sense of needing to grieve over, you know, the dreams and the way that we thought things were go. And it's like, I can see all these things, and the things that in the natural we would expect would like take us down, but it's like, you can't fall. It's like he's giving you this place and this ability to just keep going up. And it's like, you just keep going to higher ground. And it's like, you know, it's like one thing comes and you just go up higher. Another thing comes at you, you just go higher. And you have been ascending and ascending and ascending. And you have, you know, this place of protection. And I actually see, you know, these times where it's almost as if God has like so covered you that he's almost like made you invisible in the spirit realm, so that where, you know, where at once you may have even had like a target on your back, but it's like he's just so covered you. And it's like, it's that the hiding in the secret place. And so it's like you've so tucked yourself in that there's just no way, like there's no way that the enemy can get you. And Janine, I really see you stepping into a place of discovering your voice to a whole new level, and really being able to use your gift in a way. Like I see that God's been training you even in the quietness and even in the aloneness, and he's been training you how to steward your gift and how to use your gift and how to steward it in new ways. And it's like, I just see these like fresh strategies being released to you for like how, you know, God is calling you to use your gift for the utmost kingdom impact, and to use it like as that, you know, as that feeler, as that discerner, as that watchman on the wall. And, you know, you've so tucked yourself in this place where you know, you're with Jesus, but he's gonna use you in some pretty powerful ways to bring spiritual protection and covering to others, you know, even from a distance, even in the place of unknownness. I think there's specific ones that he's really put on your heart even already, and you've gone to war for them and you've fought for them. And I just see like you really holding up, you know, it's like I see you like that mother hen, like just with her wings spread out and all these like chicks underneath you. And it's like, I can see all these ones, and it's like some of them don't even understand that you are acting in a role as a spiritual mother and intercessor for them. But there is just like, you truly are the salt of the earth, and there is preservation. You are one who preserves, and there is protection over, you know, the lives of so many, because you have placed yourself in that position to minister even in the secret place, as you have tucked yourself under the shadow of the Almighty. So you are then bringing these ones in and tucking them. You are a true spiritual mother, and you really have a heart to see the next generation rise up and take their place. And, you know, there's such, I just see you really, and back to the comments about like, the sharpening of your gift and really learning how to steward it and rule it in this season. It's like, I just see you having these dialogues with Holy Spirit, and him giving you some keys and even instructing you in some like just really practical ways, and really being in that place where it's like he is training you. Like he is training you, he has been training you, and he's giving you very specific, you know, instructions or just insights into like, you know, why things are happening in a certain way. And, you know, just, it's like I can see you pondering these things in your heart, and God just releasing the revelation and the answers to you. So I bless you, Janine. You are in the high places, and nothing can bring you down. Nothing is able to like bring you to a lower elevation. It's just up, up, up. Yeah. You're like helium. You're like the helium balloon. You know, you just let go of it, doesn't matter what, it just goes up. It's the upward pull. It's just, there's only one direction you can go. It's like anti-gravity. But yeah, anyway, bless you with that. Bless you with that. All right. That was fun. That's so good. I love all of you guys, but it's nice to prophesy over someone you have not prophesied over for quite some time. And I know Janine was actually in my prophetic mentorship group. When I first launched it, almost 3 years ago. So I do know Janine, and I know her a little bit. And Jesse, I used to go to church with him, so I know about some of his gifts and talents. And Cody Smith, I don't know you though. I do not know you other than just a little bit of Facebook connection. Awesome. Guys, this has been so much fun. All right. Day 26. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. And yeah. So tomorrow, oh no, I'm not. I'm not going to New York tomorrow because I have delayed it. I'm going to fly out Friday morning. So tomorrow is packing, preparing, resting, and I will see you guys at some point tomorrow for day 27. We're getting there. Have a great night, guys.